selling real one Chevy.
Hey everyone, welcome to IJustWatched. It's your boy Joseph. We're talking She-Hulk, the Disney Plus Originals Marvel Cinematic Show tie-in. Wanted to wait for the first 3 episodes to come out, give it a genuine shot, because I was hesitant going in. But before we jump into the discussion of the first 3 episodes, episode 1, 2, and 3, gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this enough to smash that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified. Let's discuss She-Hulk. Episode 1. Spoiler warning. I did that in my ear. Not gonna lie. Episode 1 was not winning me over. So, again, they decided to change the origin, which is it's not like a big issue, but the way they did it bothered me. It was so, simplistic, it almost felt idiotic. Originally, failed mafia hit, blood transfusion, which they reference. We'll get to that. I think if they really wanted to bring in the Sakaar and the Sakarian ship, do something with that. Okay, boom. You know what? Sakarian ship pulls up. It shoots them off the road. He hawks out. She gets injured, so he rushes her to his Mexico hideout or the hospital. Either way, gets her there, feeling guilty because the Sakaar ship was there. He thinks just for him, which honestly it was. Blaming himself. She's dying. Needs a blood transfusion. He's the only one who is her type or is able to donate. He's freaking out because he knows his blood and blah blah blah, but he's like, F it, I'm gonna save my cousin's life. They do it, saves her life, comes to visit her in the hospital, bing bang boogity, we got She-Hulk, and he's like, oh shit. And she's like, what the fuck? And then, continue from there. Still different, but I feel like would have carried the same level of emotion that the original has. The seeing Bruce have to make that decision, do I let her die? Do I risk it and she possibly gets these changes with the gamma radiation in my blood, that is better than this. I'm bleeding. Oh no, get off me. AIDS. I did love the fact that when she's in the restroom, those women come to her aid like real superheroes. That shit was fucking hilarious. I love them. I don't know who those women are. I want to see them in the show. Put them in an episode later on. You know what I'm saying? That'd be just for shits and giggles. That was cool. We knew this was gonna happen. We're gonna get those pieces of shit assholes bugging the fuck out of her outside the bar. I wish we would have seen her actually beat their ass. I know we couldn't because she would have murdered. So the fact that he tackled her makes sense. But I was definitely love tap him into the building, through the building. Just 1, 2, all of them. Just a little bit. Just a little love tap. So my favorite part really was not just seeing Hulk's Mexico getaway and seeing the relics from previous movies and whatnot, but it was really the fact that we got to see his bond with Tony, because we only ever got that tease, but we got to see more of it. He talks about how him and Tony built the bar, but he's like, well, I did. Tony just sat around and drank, and I'm like, Tony hasn't been an alcoholic since Iron Man 2, so it's kind of neat that they referenced the real Tony, just to see they hung out. Tony built this place for him. We knew they had a friendship, but we never really got to see it on that level, so I actually really like that. Also, the fact that Homeboy was jamming some Spanish music. Gracias. Okay, look at you, Bruce. You probably understand it. You smart as fuck. Also, sidebar. I originally thought Inside Out was an okay movie. I love it more now, and every time I watch it, I love it more. However, even to the first time I watched it, when Bing Bong jumped out and whispered, take it to the moon for me, I cried. And every time I get emotional, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it right now, goddammit. That shit fucked me up. I remember watching it, I was like, this movie's alright, I kind of like it. And then they're like, bing bong, and then he jumped off, and I was like, oh shit. And he got up, and she's like, we made it, and he turned, she's like, take it to the moon for me, and then disappeared. I was like, fuck. I also died. We transitioned to something funny when he was like, hey, easy girl. I was like, pause. That's your cousin. In my head, I was like, why are you talking to her like a horse? And then she was like, why are you talking to me like a horse? And I was like, see, we're on the same one right here. Overall, first episode is okay. There's definitely parts I like about it. The CG for Hulk seems cleaner than the CG they're using on She-Hulk. She feels a little more stiff when it comes to her visual effects, where his seems a little bit more fluid, more natural. I hope that continues to change as we push forward. The fight against Titania, I liked her outfit. I'm glad they did it that way. It looks cool. I would have really enjoyed a bit more of a SmackDown with her because Titania is like her nemesis. That's one of her greatest foes right there for She-Hulk. If I remember correctly, Titania is also kind of bigger. She's not normal human height or average human height. She-Hulk's like She-Hulk, and they're like almost eye to eye. And Titania is actually extremely powerful. So I would have liked a bigger showdown. I know we'll get it. The intro, I thought it would have been neater. And then, okay, so whatever, I heard that every episode is supposed to have like an end credit scene, even though I think every single end credit scene thus far has been dumb. Like, hasn't really served a purpose, but it's fine, doesn't really matter. It's okay because She-Hulk as a character is usually very jokeful, or like she's one of those few characters can do shit like that. Plus, she's one of the originals to do the whole fourth wall breaking and stuff. So far, it's not bad. When we see that She-Hulk title, I'm gonna start there. It was great. The purple, the green, it looks nice and beautiful and proper. I actually genuinely like that. I think the show's starting to get better footing, so I'm starting to enjoy it more. I have one question. It's not a huge question, but when Homeboy shows up to offer the job, looks at the bartender looks at him, and they have that eye-to-eye thing, I'm with her. I don't know what that meant, and I would really appreciate if someone would translate that for me. He looked, and then he looked, and he did, and then he did this, and she was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, what the fuck? I binged all 3. They're short. It was like 35 minutes, 30 minutes. I was definitely drinking when I was watching these episodes. I don't know if that helped me enjoy it a little bit more or not as I watched the rest of these sober. I'm glad they kept the fourth wall breaks in it for her character. It's mandatory. I do enjoy a lot of the humor, not all of it, but some of it's really good. The geek in me is kind of like, why is he not the Abomination at all times? How is he able to become human and control it? Because I remember he couldn't. Not just, definitely not in the movies, but in the books. So I'm curious to that genuine explanation, or they're just gonna pay it off to like he learned how to Zen, which they can. But no offense, but I don't care about Emil Blonsky. I want Abomination. BS story shit about, you know, Captain America, and I thought I was gonna be the superheroes. Nah, we was watching different movies. You clearly like that shit, all right? You was down for that monster shit. When she's talking to Hulk, or Smart Hulk, and he's on the spaceship, bro, they're on that 6G or what? Because Homeboy was in space and had good service until they light speeded out of here. Okay? I just want to know, because there's certain rooms in my house I don't get service unless I'm hooked up to the Wi-Fi. It may be a stupid explanation, but I need one. Okay? You need to say that Tony invented a satellite for them that allows them to go into like the outer rims of space, because you know how he lost Potts in Infinity War and whatnot through the thing. So maybe that's what it is. The show, I feel like, is progressing a bit as we continue. However, it's those end credit scenes that don't really do anything for me. I'm not saying they have to be like vital to the story, but they're not necessarily like that funny to me. They're not really enjoyable, so they're kind of like, meh, I don't really care for them so far. And then episode 3, we find out, you know, Wong forced Abomination into the ring to fight him so he could become Sorcerer Supreme, which honestly I think is a stupid explanation. He needed a worthy foe, so he forced Abomination into the ring. Like, I don't know, it feels like such a whack explanation and a letdown to what seemed like a really cool situation from Shang-Chi. I was hoping for more, especially because it felt kind of cool. And you're like, oh shit, like, then you find out at the end of that one when Bruce is part of the meeting and they're talking and you're like, okay, you know, what's going on with Hulk, Abomination, like what? And he's like, no, I just needed someone strong for the fight. I let her Hulk smash me, is all I'm saying. I can't stand Dennis. He's a dick. Like, I'm over his character. I know his character is supposed to be a jerk, a piece of shit, a douche, whatever. I can't stand it. He's so annoying. I cannot. I'm done with his character. Like, keep him the fuck out. He is bugging the shit out of me. His character is annoying as fuck. Like, this whole 3rd episode about him thinking he was dating Meg the Stallion, but it was really a shape-shifting light elf from New Asgard. Wasn't really feeling it. The humor between the shape-shifting elf and him and like that part of the story was basura to me. I have a question. When Wong said he erased everyone's memories, when did he do it? Because even if you go back to No Way Home, Doctor Strange was doing it to him and he didn't know about it. So, and he was against it being used. I love the reference to the failed Mafia hit, referencing or the acknowledgement of the original origin from the books. Neat. Because everyone talked about the whole twerking scene. I didn't know those after credit, but when people were talking about it on the internet and rooting for everybody, I wasn't against it, but in my head I thought, because I didn't know she was just Megan. I didn't know Megan the Stallion was just playing herself. I thought she was playing like a character. I thought she was gonna be like an office, another attorney in the office or something like that. So I was like, in my head, I was always already going down the rabbit hole of like, well, I don't care if they're twerking, but in the office, like y'all could have done something better. It could have been like co-workers, long day. You go out and you start acquainting, being friends. You have some asshole try to dance on him, and then that's when she hulks out and he backs up. And she like carries him out and come back in, and then you can see him vibing. And that was my whole aspect because I was like, you know, co-worker thing. But then she's not playing anyone. She's just Meg Thee Stallion. She's just there. So in the office makes sense. She turns out to be her client, and she's like, I'm a fan, and they play her music. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Also, my biggest issue with this is that's supposed to be the Wrecking Crew. I actually like that group of idiots in the comics. The Wrecking Crew is funny. They strong. God awful if that's the Wrecking Crew. Clearly, they're trying to take her blood, and it's probably going to lead to them eventually getting her blood and then using it to become the Wrecking Crew as we know it. I hope so. Because I dislike this weird version we got. I like the real Wrecking Crew. That's a fun group of little villain bastards. And that also makes me think that, so, is the main villain going to be, is the leader? Because we're clearly bringing things back and doubling down on the canon that is the Incredible Hulk, which I will still iterate, is the best version of the Hulk we've had on screen ever. But he wants a more pure source. And the closest he can get is, instead of getting to Bruce, is hers. Blood-wise, especially because when Bruce talks about like we got to destroy and destroys her blood because if it gets in the wrong hands, it's making me feel at one point someone's gonna get a hold of her blood. I'm thinking it's a leader, and the leader is gonna start dishing out these gamma radiated monsters. Possibly give us Samson, possibly give us Red Hulk, Red She-Hulk, possibly give us all that. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? I think the show so far is okay. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but at the same time, it's nothing crazy good. You know, it's enjoyable, has some funny moments, and it's okay so far. 6 episodes feels kind of short, especially because they're short episodes on top of that. But so far, it's okay. It's not bad. It's doing better than I expected, but it's still not like blowing me out of the water. I want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about the show so far? Comments, questions, concerns down below. I love hearing from you. But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.